We need your help to sell out Pinnacle Bank Arena for the first time ever. For event and ticket information, visit huskers.com/tickets. Go Big Red.
Getting experience to jumpstart a meaningful career can be difficult, and education can cost a fortune. Luckily, AmeriCorps can be the solution. With AmeriCorps, you'll earn a stipend and education award while helping people. Plus, you'll gain professional skills and make connections to help you build your career. If you're ready to start a career you can be proud of, visit serve.nebraska.gov/service to find a program for you. Paid for by Serve Nebraska, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Broadcasting veteran Derek Pearson.
When you find something that moves them, that makes them smile, celebrate it. That's your task. That's your superpower.
Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score!
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Happy snow day. For those of you that got through the day and didn't have to be out in the snow, congratulations. Those that had to get out there, you essential folks and you first responder folks, well done. But we got through. You know, we were told it might be an inch, might be 3, might be 5. Here's a foot. Take it. Take it.
Take it.
Take it.
Deal with it.
Yep. But credit, kudos. Got here. Everybody got here. We're good. Jay is traveling to Charlotte, and he'll be back tomorrow. But we'll handle it. We'll handle it. I think he wants to call in, but we'll figure out once Jay gets
Sounds good.
Wherever he's going to get to in that space. 402-464-5685, Starter Heyman text line, Honda Lincoln hotline. If you want to be a part of what we're doing, you can follow on the Starter Heyman live video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter live. You can see what's going on in the studio. You might want to do that. Got the coach, Kenny Wilhite, joining us. Austin Norman will take us through and guide us. He'll run this ship, make sure we're on time and on purpose. So we will get that done as well. Thanks to the folks at the Mercado. It's where you get your quality cuts. You can go upstairs to Casa Bovina and get the fine dining experience. You can go down to the deli area, the pre-prepped foods, the fresh butcher cuts, whatever you want right there at the Mercado. Have at it. A couple of things. Shout out watching women's Huskers softball at the same time. And Courtney Wallace was dealing. Bases loaded first inning, no outs. She got the first 2. Then they hit a 2-hopper to shortstop that took a nasty wicked hop over shortstop's head, rolled to the fence, base clearing triple.
Really?
The same hitter, 3 innings later, 2 runners on, 2 outs, a line drive hit to center field. Neal makes a diving effort, extends, rolls to the fence. It's 5-0 Oklahoma State. But they're down there in Clearwater, and this is a tournament. So if you're a softball fan, get on the stream. Let me just read this off before we get into the football. Alabama, Arizona, Arkansas, Duke, Florida State, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, Michigan State, Mississippi State, Nebraska, Oklahoma State, A&M, Central Florida, UCLA, South Florida, and Virginia Tech. 16 teams down in Clearwater having at it. It's going to be – and they've got 10 fields, and it's just games on games on games. So if softball is your jam, get into it. And then, of course, the guys are in San Diego, and their first pitch is tomorrow. So it'll be officially Husker baseball season to go along with softball season. Lots going on in the space. Kenny, we were talking, and it was brought up by Strick, and in that space we were talking about it. The roster is going to change. It is going to change. Now, you know this roster. You know the people. You know how they got here. You know why they're here. I think several discussion points in it. First of all, for the majority of kids who cross paths with you, are they coming here for a change, or are they coming here for a different opportunity? And there's a difference between wanting a change in your situation and circumstance or just getting a different opportunity. What do you think that is?
I think for the guys that they brought in, most of them are coming for a different opportunity. You can't count the freshmen because the freshmen were guys that the previous staff was recruiting. Most of them were. But the transfers and the other guys are coming for a better opportunity. So they think. You know what I mean? So you never know, because you got guys on that roster that currently on the roster before they got there that are still trying to get their opportunity also.
It's in this space that high school coaches and college coaches have had the discussion that the pandemic and the transfer portal and have changed it for high school athletes. They're not getting seen. They're not getting recruited. They're not being signed and committed to. What's your take? What's your stand? Will it ever get straight? Will it ever go back to the way it was?
As long as you have the transfer portal, no. COVID, it really hurt you because you still got guys that are on their sixth, seventh year due to COVID, maybe because of injury or whatever. But that won't change. But the transfer portal has changed the game a lot. So if you're not a big time high school player, you may get overlooked because there's another guy in the transfer portal that may have college film.
Does that mean that the lower FCS schools will get better?
They should,
because they should get better talent.
They should.
Or does it continually rainfall from the top for folks who want to get out of being third team at Michigan State, fourth team at Nebraska, but they can go and be, well, in their minds, be number one at James Madison. They can be number one at South Dakota
State,
right?
South Dakota State,
right?
You know what I mean? So yeah, those teams should reap the benefit of the transfer portal. Like you said, the roster at Nebraska right now has to be brought down some considerable amount.
How do you have that conversation?
Those are tough conversations that I did not want to be in.
Right?
That I was glad I was not involved in.
Right. But you're sitting back because you, as you said, it all rains downhill.
There are some relationships.
Right.
That,
because they're people that you have to commit to get them here.
Yes.
And relationships had to be built.
Yep.
Can I ask you, can you share the conversations when somebody that you brought in then gets asked to leave the program? What are those conversations like between you and players, you and families?
A couple of times I was not in the loop. I was left out the loop. So I had to get a phone call or text message from a parent. I didn't even know. But
hey, coach.
But those conversations are always difficult. But I always told a kid, I'm going to be straight and shoot him straight and be honest with him. And if I thought a kid after his second year of me bringing him in cannot help us, realistically, I would sit that kid down and his parent down and be like, hey, let's try to get this kid to a place where he can have some success and possibly play.
Do you find yourself at that point being kind of a conduit for them going somewhere else, using your resources and connections, or is it's a full clean divorce? You got to move in.
No, I would never wash my hand with any kid that I had any contact with or get into the University of Nebraska. Never. Even to this point, if somebody reaches out, I will do whatever I can for them.
How much of your time, let's say it's a pie of 100%, how much, I would assume that the majority of your time is actually getting to know kids and families.
Yes.
And then you get into talent evaluation, assessment, that sort of thing. And then it becomes contacting and reference of knowing what program the kid came from, who the coach is in that program, who's willing to co-sign for the kid. So through that, let's go through it. That first part of getting to know the people, your first responsibility would have been the state of Nebraska, right? In the immediate area.
Immediate state of Nebraska.
Right?
Yes.
In that space, how difficult is it for you to cover every high school, every program, know every head coach specifically, sometimes the position coaches, right? So you could ask them, hey, we run this, can he fit here? 50% of your time, give it a percentage.
100%.
Like it's all like that's bulk
every day.
That's the bulk of the gig.
Every day. That was every day. So, like you said, the process is watching the kids film. If I thought he could play at the University of Nebraska that was contacting the coach, sending the coach a questionnaire.
Okay.
On the kid. So, you trust the coach's word. And then you try to reach out to a counselor. And then you get involved and you start messaging the kid and his parent, trying to get him on campus. Once you get him on campus, you sell the University of Nebraska. What the University of Nebraska can do for that kid on and off the field. So once you get to that point, now you take it to the head man, who in turn gives it to the position coach. The position coach made the decision on who he wanted.
You read my mind. I need to know the checklist.
The position
right?
coach made a decision on who he wanted.
Okay.
If that kid checked all the boxes, academically, athletically, was he in trouble
socially? We need to know what he
was
did.
he in trouble in the cafeteria? Was he a gentleman to a cafeteria worker? Was he just how he conducted himself throughout the school? So once he checked all the boxes, the head coach signed off on him, and then off we went. We tried to get him to, if there's a kid that had a South Dakota State, North Dakota State, it was tougher sell because that's scholarship. That's a tougher sell. So
how many, give me a percentage, how many of the young people that you reach that point of you want them and they want to be at the University of Nebraska, how many of those people then immediately did the scholarship offer conversation happen and end well?
So I would say in my 7 years in my role, the guys that I brought on as walk-ons, I would say 35% of them earned scholarships, maybe 40 within their time at Nebraska.
Did you have a percentage in your head that says I'm doing a good job?
Well, I never said I was doing a good job. It was always a we. It was never about me.
Well, who else was required? And you went through the checklist, right?
Yep.
That because you have to take 100% of the available talent in the state of Nebraska, and then find those that fit from a talent level, from a program level, from a skill level, academic level, that could fit in. Then you've got to decide whether you could actually get them to Nebraska.
Yes.
Especially when it's walk-on.
Yes.
What's the pitch and sell? Let's say that it's Austin Jr., right? He's a Nebraska guy. He loves it. His son, AJ's good talent, good enough talent that North Dakota State says, you know what? We'll offer you a ride here. And we said to him, but we have to offer you a Nebraska walk-on. What's the pitch? What is the thing that gets AJ to Nebraska instead of taking the scholarship to go somewhere else?
The University of Nebraska itself, the people, the academic people, the life skill people, and what we can get you extra. There's a student assistance fund. Right now, the NCAA rule changed where all the meals are free now after their freshman year.
After the freshman
year, all the meals are free. You don't have to pay for a meal.
So if they stay in the walk-on program, they will get fed.
Yes. Well, even if they're in the walk-on program, they get fed. So you have a card. You swipe your card when you go to breakfast, you go to lunch, and you go to dinner, right? That comes out of your parents, whatever.
Right.
After your freshman year, that's free. But if we have a meal provided by the football program, an extra meal, say a caterer, those kids get that for free.
So 85 of the kids on a roster get fed all the time, no matter what. That's just a part of what
scholarship.
Right. The scholarship folks.
Walk-ons do too. But the 85, the scholarship kids' meals are free.
Okay.
It's included in their scholarship.
Okay. So they can eat with the team, but there's some financial setup.
Walk-on kids go right to the training table, eat with all the other athletes, but their parents pay for that.
Okay.
After their freshman year.
This is free. This because I'm so grateful that you're willing to go through the process, because people around the programs have an idea, but the average listener never really gets into the nuts and bolts of how this stuff really works. And why I brought up, Austin Jr. is because that's the bulk of the people that you're dealing with.
Yes.
People who love the Husker program,
Yes.
they love the state of Nebraska, they love the university, they want their young person to be a part of the program. And then that transcends all the other programs too. So this is not just a football thing. This is trying to get walk-ons in numbers at a high enough level, because you also have to make this decision. And I'll ask you how you weigh it. Their acceptance of being a walk-on, and then their ability to actually contribute as a walk-on. Where do you put the lever 50-50 in that conversation? So because he's all conference, but it may be a position that you don't need a bunch of people.
Give you an example. There was a kid this year, before I was not retained. Parents love the University of Nebraska. Absolutely love it. Dad played. Mom went to school here. Wanted nothing but for their kid to play at the University of Nebraska. So, again, there's a pecking order, and me being the person I am, I had to have that conversation on an unofficial visit game day weekend. And I told the parents, I was like, listen, I'll be doing your kid a disservice if I kept pushing for him to be a walk-on in this class. The reason being, there's 20 guys at that position on scholarship almost, because there was 3 that should have been on scholarship, right? So you have 17 scholarship players at that position, 3 more that probably should be on scholarship at that position. So, and there was only, you may be losing 2 at that position. And then you're bringing in 3 more on scholarship. That kid would never play here. So I'll be doing him a disservice to ask him to walk on here. My ultimate goal was to have kids on the walk-on program that could contribute after the second year, whether it be on special teams or a backup at a position.
We're with Coach Kenny Wilhite, and again, I thank you for dropping knowledge. Like, sometimes in this space we can get into the debates and the hot takes, but the reality is I'd rather share information on how things really work. We'll go to break. We'll come back more with Coach Wilhite, Austin Norman here on Old School.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey guys, this is Lindsay Teal from Nebraska Golf Team. Imagine golfing the best courses in the world. St. Andrews, Pebble Beach, Southern Hills, the best of the best. You can play those courses and more without ever leaving the city of Lincoln at Double Eagle Golf. Double Eagle has the city's best golf simulators, 5 high-quality bays that track ball speed, launch angle, club speed, spin rate, and more to give you the most accurate gameplay. Check it out for yourself year-round. Double Eagle Golf, just 5 minutes from downtown at the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock, or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals. A new year means new goals and upgrading, but that doesn't only apply to health and fitness. Mullen Motors can get you into a new vehicle right now and get your 2023 started off the right way. They cleared off their 2022 inventory and have tons of new vehicles to choose from to make sure you get to where you need to be this year. Out with the old and in with the new. Stop by Mullen Motors today, just north of 48th and Lake.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, wanting to say Happy New Year and thank you to all of you for your continued support. We have just closed out another outstanding year, and we want to start 2023 off with a bang. The new GMC and Chevrolet inventory continues to roll in, and I'll actually be picking up my 2023 GMC later this month. So with interest rates continuing to climb, Coppell is partnering with General Motors and now offering 2.9% APR on select models. So we invite you to the dealership. Check us out online at CoppellCars.com. You'll be glad you did. All deals with approved credit.
You know that feeling after a good, hearty meal? The worries of the world just slip away. Time slows down. Nothing but good times and good company. That's what you get with Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Mary Ellen's does food right, with a menu that includes smoked wings, pulled pork, brisket, catfish. And don't sleep on their sides, shrimp and grits, collard greens, baked beans. It's food that makes your heart happy. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul, just east of 27th and Pineland. Let them fix you a plate. When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club or space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about a margarita club? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge and join the best club in town. 10 flavors of margaritas like Maui Wowie, burnt pineapple, and mango tango. Try all 10 of them and receive your own souvenir margarita glass. Make it your new Monday night tradition. $4 margaritas and $4 taco baskets. Grab the crew and head on over Monday nights or any night. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air. When it comes to your home or business, we know you have options, and that's why John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning gives you just that. Options. We have plumbing, heating, and cooling memberships to serve all of your residential and commercial needs. We want to ensure you, your family, and your business are safe. Visit our website, jhlincoln.com, to find out more or call us at 435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
People always ask, what are Jake and Sip like when they're off the air? Well, the answer probably won't surprise you.
Hey, Jake, your Honda's looking a little dirty.
Says the guy whose license plate is barely visible.
I mean, do you even care about that thing anymore?
It gets a little uncomfortable. Now, that's when I jump in.
Hey, whoa. Mark, did you get a new car?
Nope, just took my car down to Nebraska Auto Detail. Joe and the staff made the outside and the inside look amazing. Maybe you guys need to go.
Okay, wise guy.
Settle down, Jake.
Book your appointment today at nebraskaautodetail.com.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports is quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Veterans, do you know what local, state, and federal benefits and services you're eligible to receive? Do you want help navigating the application or appeals process? Speak to your county veteran service officer or the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs State Service Office to see what's available to you and your family. You've served our country, now let us serve you. Visit veterans.nebraska.gov today. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Welcome back. We are here on a snowy Thursday. We thank you, folks. Hopefully, you're fully nestled in at home. No school, so that was there. If you're a mom and you had the kids for the first time in a couple of weeks and you had them all day in the snow, we sending good thoughts out to you because we know your hair is frazzled and your nerves are wrecked. You had to deal with it today and you wasn't ready, but that's okay. Coach Kenny Wilhite is with us, and he's taking us through the journeys that are recruiting in the state of Nebraska. You spoke of the young man. I want you to finish the story and go into more detail.
Yeah. So when you have that conversation, and I told the young man, I told his parents, I was like, listen, let's get you to a school where you can play and possibly transfer back. Mm-hmm. Now you have film. You're not sitting here for 2 years, maybe 3 years, and then you're looking crazy. You know what I mean? So what his parents, his mom and dad told me was they appreciated my honesty from day one. And that's all I cared about, was hopefully leading the kid in the right direction. Because if there's a South Dakota offer, North Dakota offer, those teams are winning now. Go play there and then transfer up. I mean, we had a kid.
Plus, you'll still be seen.
Plus, you'll have film.
Yeah.
You'll have film. So they appreciated my honesty. And then I went up to the Warren Academy thing he had with like a combine. Saw the kid's parents. Talked to a couple of guys I knew on different staffs. They watched the kid and he got an offer. Parents reached out and told me thank you. So there you go.
That's usually how it works behind the scenes, and we don't talk about it a lot. Mm-hmm. There was a Husker athlete that was here, went through some stuff, was looking for, well, what do I do next? And I went, you know what? Normally I stay out, but I'm gonna step in. And they are now at a national caliber program that fits the personality of the people involved. But that means that you have to know, you have to care, and you have to be willing to add the time to it.
Yes.
Right? You have to do that. In Nebraska, across the state, and people, I'm not sure people recognize how different the pockets of Nebraska when it comes to high school football are. It's not all the same.
No.
So when you go to the outskirts and there's a dude, how difficult is it to recruit a guy that just isn't familiar with Lincoln, is not familiar with how, because life in Scottsbluff is different than life in Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
There are different things required. The conversations that you have with parents when they tell you, hey, coach, he wants to play for Nebraska, but he needs some money. We need some money. The funniest way to say it for me to ask you, how quick is the dismount when somebody starts talking to you about money?
Well, there's no dismount.
Okay.
The next thing I'll say is, what is your GPA? If you have a high enough GPA and a high enough test score, you get academic money. That takes some of the burden off their parents. Mm-hmm. So if they have a high enough GPA and test score, let's get the ball rolling. Let's get them over to admissions, get the transcripts over to admission.
Were you allowed to set that in play to put – I would have loved to have met you 7 years ago and been able to say, hey, let's take that idea of getting student athletes prepared for college, even as a walk-on academically,
mm-hmm.
by putting programs in place to make people aware that as a freshman, here's a way for you to save your parents money. As a sophomore, here's a way. As a junior, and here's when you need to have the academics in play. Is there a program in place for student athletes across the state of Nebraska to know what would be required for them to walk on and be covered academically?
I don't know if there's necessarily a program in place,
mm-hmm.
but if there's a kid that came to our camp that I saw who stood out,
mm-hmm.
then I'm like, he may not be he may be a step too slow.
Mm-hmm.
He may not be quick enough. But I thought 2 years from now he could be.
Mm-hmm.
So I may say, what's your grades look like? How's your grades? That's my first conversation to any kid. There's nothing I can do for you if you don't have. There's nothing we can do for you if you don't have grades.
Mm-hmm.
So what are your grades? And if a kid said, oh, I'm at a 3.5, first thing I will say is make sure I get that transcript when you get back to where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
And if I looked at that transcript and I say that kid has a 3.5 right now,
mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get him to, start working on the admission process, because admissions will look at that. Now, if his junior year, if he has 3.5, 3.8, and he has a 26, 27 ACT,
mm-hmm.
he can get academic money.
Let me ask if you can answer this question. You can, if you say you can't answer it, that's fine either. Let's say it's Austin Jr. and he's got a 4.0.
Yep.
And he's a pretty good. He's a second team all conference player at a position of need at the University of Nebraska. Not going to get a scholarship offer otherwise. Could he be could his enrollment opportunity or eligibility be enhanced?
Oh, yes. If Austin was a second team all state player,
like, does it help him get to the
GPA,
University of Nebraska?
So Austin may be a second team all state player
mm-hmm.
with a high GPA. So there's position of need. So you have a ranking.
Yeah.
Austin's number 3 on that ranking. Austin may move to number 2 because now he could possibly help us in 2 years. And it's not just about his GPA, but his stock has risen because of it.
Well, you can use gritty lunch pail, whiteboard. Use all those for me and my kid. Use them all.
Yeah. You circle it and you put coach's kid because he's going to help us in the classroom.
And if he's tough, he can help us.
It's because all of that's in play. I would love one day for you to set up your own chart of, let's say there's 3 kids.
Mm-hmm.
And they all have the same level of success. They're all 1,000-yard rushers in high school, top level. All of them are 1,000-yard rushers. They all have 15 touchdowns. They all have the same height, same weight, same speed, and 40. But one of them carries a 2.7. One carries a 3.5. One carries a 4.0. I'd like to know on how the scale works for, those 1,000 yards look a whole lot. Those 1,000 yards are actually 2,000 yards because you're a 4.0.
Well, I'm gonna have to dig a little deeper,
right,
on all three of them because you said they're all three are the same,
right?
So I'm gonna have to dig a little deeper. On off the field.
Off the field matters.
Is he a good kid? Is he a good person? Mom and dad good people? Do they get overly involved, or do they stay out?
You're gonna have to write an entire book on what defines a good student athlete parent. Like that deserves its own TED talk, bro. Because they don't know.
No, and I would love to educate parents on that.
Yeah,
in the recruiting process and how to stay out of it, and how to when to get involved, when not to get involved.
Were the parents of first-time players easier or harder than parents who had a kid go through it before?
First-time players are harder.
They have no idea.
They have no idea. I mean, even sometimes the kids don't, because if you say you get a kid's transcript and the kid's school doesn't require a certain thing that you need,
foreign language,
NCAA wise,
right?
But to graduate from that school, that's all you need. So, and then now you think the school counselor knows, but sometimes the school counselors don't know.
Well, because they're not really in the student athlete business. They're in the student business.
So they don't know. So now you have to tell a kid, hey, here's the deal. I need your transcript ASAP. And once I get that transcript and they tell me, then I relate that to that kid. Hey, you need another year of this, because it may not be required at your high school, but the NCAA requires you to have it.
Well, so I think there's great value in you going from school to school in the state of Nebraska and making sure that anybody that is considering playing at the next level, that they go through the clearinghouse. Like that would be helpful because it helps them track. And then having somebody with intelligence and knowledge being able to tell them, hey, this is going to be a sticking point for you. You need to improve on.
Yes. So if say you got a transcript that didn't look good, so you tell them to hold out on registering for the NCAA clearinghouse,
right?
Because now you have to possibly go to summer school, go to night school, get some grades,
get that 2.2 to a
2.9 before you go put your transcript,
and then having a way to teach them how, which is the other part that gets lost in it.
Yes.
And I found that in most programs that I've been in, asking kids to study is one thing. Giving them a way to study and teaching them how to study is where the bridge is.
I'm gonna give you an example of myself. I knew nothing about an ACT or SAT when I was in high school. Now that was a long time ago.
Yeah,
it's a long time ago. So, sophomore year, starting varsity, I kind of let my academics slip. Junior year, from one class, I was ruled ineligible, right? So I had to go to summer school. That whole summer school semester, I still was not educated on the recruiting process. What do you need to be eligible for college, NCAA wise? Man, this dude came to me talking about you have to take the SAT on this day. I was like, what the heck is that? No, ACT. I'm like, what? So I never studied for it.
I didn't know.
I never knew it existed. So
I didn't know the importance of the SAT. I knew about it because I went to a predominantly white school where it was a big deal.
I did too, but it was never.
And it was a who's who in America type of academic program. But I didn't know the value, the weight of the SAT score. So the first time I took it, I was like, whatever. I didn't push until they told me, hey, bro, and this is another thing. It wasn't until late in my junior year when the offers start to come. And they said, okay, so let me explain this to you. If you're trying to go to University of Virginia, the scale is here.
Yep.
The scale, if you're not a 3.9, UVA is off the table. Now, if you want to go to Tech, you can probably go to Tech. William and Mary's 3.8, Tech is 3.6. Richmond is a 3.5, ODU's a 3.5. If you're below that, you're probably talking about Virginia Union, Hampton's a 3-3. Oh, so I really got to get to work. And then I learned that in order to do those applications, I had to get all of these this GPA up by the end of next semester.
Mm-hmm.
And if nobody had ever told me that, the scholarship, those letters would have stopped and the offers would have never become official because I never met whatever standard has to be there. How often? I mean, and again, Nebraska academically has its own standard, but that's a big part of the recruiting process.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you could play here, but you would flunk out. I always tell my players, you don't fail out of college because you don't have skill. You fail out because you don't handle the other stuff, right? You're more likely to flunk academically than you are fail because you're not a good football player.
I can't speak for other universities, but
Yeah.
the University of Nebraska, you got to want to fail to fail. With all the resources they have academically in that West Stadium,
mm-hmm.
and the guy that's heading that,
mm-hmm.
you got to want to fail at the University of Nebraska. If you don't walk out of the University of Nebraska with a degree,
it was on purpose.
That was on you, because the resources you have and the people over there that I tell you what, the hours that they spend in West Stadium, you got to want to fail.
Even for 150,
it don't matter. Every student athlete, that guy is in charge of every student athlete. Now he has assistants,
mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna go ahead and say his name, Dennis LeBlanc.
Mm-hmm.
He was there when I was there. He got me graduated.
Yeah,
I didn't take school serious, but once he stayed on me, him and Keith Zimmer, I realized that, hey, I need this, and if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be where I am right now. But that guy, he is, I call him excuse my language, but the white Joe Clark. You seen Lean on Me?
Yeah.
I call him the white Joe Clark because, one, he genuinely cares about every student athlete that comes to the University of Nebraska. He treats them like they're his kids, and he's on them. If you have a project due a month down the road, or if you have a test or something, or assignment due a month down the road, he's going to know about that, and he's going to ask you about it. Have you started on that? I mean, he'll send messages at 10, 11 o'clock at night about a player, and I'm in that. If it's a walk-on, hey, he needs to get this done by this time. I'm like, Dennis, go to sleep. I mean, it's 11:30 at night.
Those people are angels on earth.
That's
man.
Because he cares. He genuinely cares, and he loves what he's doing.
I just I find it all fascinating because hearing it from you, confirms and reaffirms a lot of the things that I've spent time trying to help folks on, and knowing that you were in this space makes it better. It also makes me worry because you ain't gonna be here long. We'll toward the break. We'll come back more with Coach Kenny Wilhite.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Max Tan for men. Bye-bye golfer lines and t-shirt tans. Take it to the max at Max Tan. Get a 30-day pass, just $25. With stand-ups and laydowns for men of stature. Be a Max Tan man. Get 30 days for just $25. Now at all 4 Lincoln Max Tan locations.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $24.11 per hour, which grows to $28.27 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $32.76 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
Colon cancer is the second leading cause of cancer-related deaths in the United States, but regular screening can reduce colon cancer deaths by 50%. At-home screening tests such as the fecal immunochemical test, or FIT, can help identify precancerous polyps and prevent colon cancer. FIT is easy to use, with no prep needed, can be completed in the privacy of your own home, and are often free to order from your local county health department. Take a health quiz to know if you are at risk of developing colon cancer. Now is the time to act and ensure that you take the quiz.
Getting experience to jumpstart a meaningful career can be difficult, and education can cost a fortune. Luckily, AmeriCorps can be the solution. With AmeriCorps, you'll earn a stipend and education award while helping people. Plus, you'll gain professional skills and make connections to help you build your career. If you're ready to start a career you can be proud of, visit serve.nebraska.gov/service to find a program for you. Paid for by Serve Nebraska, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
You know that feeling after a good, hearty meal? The worries of the world just slip away. Time slows down. Nothing but good times and good company. That's what you get with Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Mary Ellen's does food right, with a menu that includes smoked wings, pulled pork, brisket, catfish. And don't sleep on their sides, shrimp and grits, collard greens, baked beans. It's food that makes your heart happy. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul, just east of 27th and Pineland. Let them fix you a plate. When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club, or space club, and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about a margarita club? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge and join the best club in town. 10 flavors of margaritas like Maui Wowie, burnt pineapple, and mango tango. Try all 10 of them and receive your own souvenir margarita glass. Make it your new Monday night tradition. $4 margaritas and $4 taco baskets. Grab the crew and head on over. Monday nights or any night. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake. Chances are you've tried fruitcake before. Chances are it looked pretty weird. Lots of colors that don't really exist in nature. Chances are it tasted weird. Chances are you need to try fruitcake again. Grandma's fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. None of that weird stuff you didn't like, just real fruit, premium nuts, and the delicious flavor combination of brandy, bourbon, and rum to meld all that together. See for yourself. Grandma's fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
John Henry's Plumbing, heating and air.
When it comes to your home or business, we know you have options, and that's why John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning gives you just that. Options. We have plumbing, heating, and cooling memberships to serve all of your residential and commercial needs. We want to ensure you, your family, and your business are safe. Visit our website, jhlincoln.com, to find out more or call us at
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, heating and air.
Back to old school with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It is a wonderful thing to get into this is a master's class. If you're a parent, if you're an athlete in this space, but I'm just pointing it out that there were good people in this athletic department in the program. There are good people who cared about the people in the state of Nebraska, who elevated people all over the state and put them in a program that, quite frankly, otherwise they wouldn't have been a part of. And then they get to take that degree and go back and add to the world. And Kenny Woodhite is that person. And I'm just, like I said, it's a master's class for folks. And if you're listening, you have questions, right? Because you may be going through it. You may have a young student athlete who's pondering, okay, what do I need to do to be prepared? One, for the parent to be prepared, for the student athlete to be prepared, and then to make it as easy as possible for the University of Nebraska to say yes. And there's a resource that you can go to, that you can check in with, and that you can reach out to that can actually teach and help your young person achieve the things that they are working hard for.
You can hit me on Twitter at Coach Wilhite. I'm there. I got you.
Right? Like it's this is just to say to it, if you've got, I mean, you look at, and it's not just football players, it's basketball players, it's baseball players, it's wrestlers within the state. What you know about the process, you can help any student athlete in the state of Nebraska with the guidelines and boundaries for what they need to know to do what they want to do and get to the University of Nebraska. Is that a fair statement or not?
Yes, sir. 100.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it just it's there. I want to read this because Crowbait, good people. Says he has a learning disability and ADHD, and he's not okay with the concept because it's not easy for everybody. It's not easy for everybody. But what you offered was an opportunity for those who were curious of what the process is. You being able to tell somebody with whatever your situation is, here's the likelihood or the not likelihood of you making this thing work.
There's things in place for people with learning disabilities too.
Let's go through.
So if you go take the ACT or SAT, it's not timed because you know it's not timed.
Right.
Even when you get on campus, there's people in place where you have a test and there's people that will go to class with you, take your notes, right? And then if you have a test, that test is untimed.
Are those type programs available at most high schools in the state of Nebraska, to your knowledge?
I don't know if there's available at the high school. I know it's available at the
well, this
university.
right, but think about that.
Yeah.
If we ever really wanted to add to, a great add to is to figure out a way how those resources could be available, because think about who we're missing. We're missing out on some talented athletes. We're missing out on some future leaders. Learning disability hasn't stopped you from being a great leader. It hasn't stopped you from being a great citizen. It hasn't stopped you from any of that. And the more of those we can get into the pool that is University of Nebraska, Lincoln, the better we all are.
We've had a couple come through in my time, my 9 years there, that I thought would never make it academically, but their grind, their want to, their grit, and the people in academics made sure they walked out there with degrees.
I want to do this. So we'll go to break and we'll get into the second hour. And what I want, when we come back into the second hour, I'm going to ask the question. Give it to you now so you understand. Are you willing to tell the story of when the on switch went on for you academically and how you got through?
Yes.
What changed you? Who changed you? And then what the process was. We'll get all of that from Coach Kenny Will when we come back, second hour of Old School.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
Husker Nation, Amy Williams and Nebraska women's basketball needs you February 18th at 1 p.m. as the Huskers take on the Iowa Hawkeyes. We need your help to sell out Pinnacle Bank Arena for the first time ever. For event and ticket information, visit huskers.com/tickets. Go Big Red.
You know that feeling after a good, hearty meal? The worries of the world just slip away. Time slows down. Nothing but good times and good company. That's what you get with Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Mary Ellen's does food right, with a menu that includes smoked wings, pulled pork, brisket, catfish. And don't sleep on their sides, shrimp and grits, collard greens, baked beans. It's food that makes your heart happy. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul, just east of 27th and Pineland. Let them fix you a plate.
Ever think of having a career in plumbing or heating? Do you enjoy watching your favorite game in a nice, comfortable space? Taking a shower after a warm day? Well, everyone we serve at Biggerstaff Plumbing, Heating, and Air sure does. If you're interested in a career in plumbing, heating, and air, come join our team where you'll get paid while training. No experience required. Enjoy great pay and benefits in a friendly environment. Call Biggerstaff Plumbing, Heating, and Air at 402-466-8118 or apply online at biggerstaffs.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Cobble Chevrolet GMC, wanting to say Happy New Year and thank you to all of you for your continued support. We have just closed out another outstanding year, and we want to start 2023 off with a bang. The new GMC and Chevrolet inventory continues to roll in, and I'll actually be picking up my 2023 GMC later this month. So with interest rates continuing to climb, Cobble is partnering with General Motors and now offering 2.9% APR on select models. So we invite you to the dealership. Check us out online at cobblecars.com. You'll be glad you did. All deals with approved credit.
Colon cancer is the second leading cause of cancer-related deaths in the United States, but regular screening can reduce colon cancer deaths by 50%. At-home screening tests such as the fecal immunochemical test, or FIT, can help identify precancerous polyps and prevent colon cancer. FIT is easy to use, with no prep needed, can be completed in the privacy of your own home, and are often free to order from your local county health department. Take a health quiz to know if you're at risk of developing colon cancer. Now is the time to act and ensure that you take the quiz.
Chances are you've tried fruitcake before. Chances are it looked pretty weird. Lots of colors that don't really exist in nature. Chances are it tasted weird. Chances are you need to try fruitcake again. Grandma's fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. None of that weird stuff you didn't like, just real fruit, premium nuts, and the delicious flavor combination of brandy, bourbon, and rum to meld all that together. See for yourself. Grandma's fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
A new year means new goals and upgrading, but that doesn't only apply to health and fitness. Mullen Motors can get you into a new vehicle right now and get your 2023 started off the right way. They cleared off their 2022 inventory and have tons of new vehicles to choose from to make sure you get to where you need to be this year. Out with the old and in with the new. Stop by Mullen Motors today, just north of 48th and Lake.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Winter storm warning will remain in effect until 6 o'clock this evening, and snow will be a possibility throughout the day. Totals of 4 to 6 inches will be possible, reaching a high of around 27. Clearing out tonight with a low down to around 8. Will be mainly sunny and slightly warmer tomorrow with a high of around 34. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Broadcasting veteran Derek Pearson.
When you find something that moves them, that makes them smile, celebrate it. That's your task. That's your superpower.
Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score!
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Second hour of Old School. Thank y'all for hanging out on a snowy Thursday. But you get through the night, means you made it to the weekend. Programming update, we will go straight to national at 6 o'clock. So there won't be any local programming tonight. Don't want folks out on the streets. It's just not. Go home. I'll take the risk. 402-464-5685. Starter Heyman text line, Honda Lincoln hotline. If you want to add to the conversation, you can. The Starter Heyman live video stream. You can see us in studio, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter live. See what's going on. Thanks and shout out to folks from the Mercado for what they do for us to allow us to bring this content to you each and every single day. Again, you can go to Casa Bovina and get the fine dining experience upstairs. So you go in to the Mercado, but you go upstairs and you get the fine dining, full white tablecloth, the whole shebang bang. Right. It is. Or you can go downstairs, go into the deli, get your meat cut up. You can go and get the prepped meals. They have probably the best prepared burgers that I've had. They definitely have the best bacon and the best brats.
Brats are good.
Yeah, the brats are amazing. You got some the last time you were there.
Brats are good.
Yep. So it's there. From the text line, I want to say thanks to Kenny Wilhite for being with us, Austin for carrying us and keeping us on time and on air. Here's what text says. Hey, DP. Kenny helped my son get into Nebraska. He helped with all that needed to be done. He ended up being a 3-year starter and a 4-time academic All-Big Ten, as well as up for the academic All-American. He was also a walk-on. He's graduating in May and already has a job offer with LPS. Kind sir, that is the power of Kenny Wilhite. That's what you've done for people. And I know this isn't the only story. This is just the one that's being shared today. So in this, as we were talking about before, there comes a time for a lot of people where somebody, someone, something either lands in front of them and forces them to change direction, or something hits them in the head. Sometimes it's a kick in the pants. Who is it, or what is it that turned you from this kid in St. Louis who didn't understand the value of the future and what was going to be required of you, and taught you what was required so you would pay attention to academics and get it together?
Well, growing up, my mom always stressed academics, the importance of academics. She had me when she was 16. So that was always stressed, but I didn't take it serious until football was taken away from me. When I got that phone call from the head football coach and saying that I was academically ineligible, you don't know how much that hurt me. So from the summer of my sophomore year until I graduated high school, then I was told I had to go to junior college because I didn't get my GPA up high enough. Again, I was not aware of an ACT or SAT test. So when I was told I need to go take the ACT test on a Saturday during the football season without studying for it, I knew I wasn't going to do well on that. So I took it, didn't reach the NCAA requirement, so I went to a junior college. When I got to the junior college, I knew, and I always say this in a joking manner, that it was a 2-year stretch that I had to do in order to get to where I needed to get to. So once I got to the junior college, the head coach I played for there stressed academics, said that academics was the reason why I was in this position. What am I going to do to get myself out? So I accepted the challenge, went to a junior college and graduated in 2 years from a junior college, then transferred to Nebraska. When I got to Nebraska, first year redshirted, so I kind of wasn't taking academics too serious. Then the next year, my junior year, was 91. Started playing. I had some success and tore my ACL. 8th game into the season. 6 interceptions, 8 games into the season. Kind of fell into a depression. You know, there were some people in place. I said there's people in place at Nebraska then that was there to support you, to help you. And I had been shot before, and me hurting my ACL was way tougher than being shot. The rehab and all that. So I kind of cursed out the trainer that was working with me that day and had a rough day that day. Went home, and the person that made me realize what I need to do was my grandmother. My grandmother had 11 kids. We lived in her house. It was 26 of us in one house.
Say that again. So you understand.
26 of us in one house. My grandmother had 11 kids, 6 girls, 5 boys. So all my aunts, my uncles, and their kids. Me and my brothers. I'm the oldest of 4. So I called my grandmother and I said, Grandma, I'm done. I said this explicit word.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks. It hurts. She said, she gave me some words back. She said, one thing you're not going to do is you're not coming back here without that piece of paper. One thing they can't take away from you is that piece of paper. You know what is not coming back here without that college degree. Right then and there, I really took school serious because I knew football can be taken away from you just like that. So
isn't that true? Like there are recruiters that have been good recruiters and bad recruiters. The good recruiters 201 always ask the question, why does any of this matter to you? And some will say it's the game. Some will say it's what it can do for my family. But it's always important to know what it is. That's when you found out, look, man, this football thing matters to me. I need to take care of it.
No, football was second after that. When she told me that, because I'm coming off an ACL, 1 year left to play. I didn't know if I was going to be recovered yet enough to play my senior year. When I had surgery in November, I went through spring ball and 4 months later off a torn ACL because they did a different surgery back then. But at any time, I could get re-injured. So I needed that piece of paper to fall back on. And again, I got her name tattooed on my arm right now because I made her that promise that I was not going to walk out of that place without a degree. And then Coach Osborne also, he supported me.
As you say that, because and they're people, we all have those people. Luckily, we have those people. And blessed if we have those people that'll say, I was jokingly, I was on a book thing, and my grandmother came up, and my grandmother was a giant of a woman. At least in my mind, she was. And then it hit me later on that my grandma was 5'2".
Mine was too. She was 5'2", about
Right.
380.
Right, but she was the baddest. She was the baddest
yes.
human I knew.
Yes.
And because she loved me so intently, so intensely, and in that space. You mentioned Coach Osborne, and so many stories come out, even now, about people who played for Coach Osborne. But the greatest takeaway wasn't the wins and losses, but the lessons.
Yes.
If I asked you to share a Coach Osborne lesson, a thing that he taught you in a one-to-one, what is there one that comes to mind?
There's a couple.
Okay.
But the main one is when you make a decision to choose a university, I know I did for the coaching staff and then the academics, right? Again, coming from where I came from. So I graduated junior college. I go home to St. Louis and I get shot in between reporting to Nebraska and graduating junior college. My mom tells me, we're getting you out of here before your brothers get you in trouble. So I called Coach Osborne. We drove back to Lincoln. We drove to Lincoln, met him and Coach Brown in the place they were putting me up for the summer. And my mom said, tell him. So the bullet was still in my arm. They left it in my arm. But so I looked at him and I said, hey, Coach, I got shot yesterday. And this man looked at me with a straight face and said, with the needle? And I said, nah, Coach. I said, so I raised up my sleeve and showed him the patch. And I said, the bullet's still in there. They said he was going to leave it in there because if they cut it out, it would damage my muscle tissue. So he said, how long does it recover? And I said, he said 4 to 6 months. So this was July, right? He said, but I can play on it as long as I get it padded, right? So he looked at my mom, looked at me, looked at Coach Brown. He said, hey, you mind if we keep him here and get him graduated and get you guys out of that neighborhood? Possibly get you guys out of the neighborhood. That's when I knew I made the right decision. That's exactly when I knew that I made the right decision. I knew this guy had my back. Not for me as a football player, but as a person.
That that explains so much about how you operate.
Yes.
Because those that are given in abundance, give in abundance. That's how it works. And you found out that the work of a coach can change somebody's life.
Yes.
And their family's lives. Academically, where'd you finish up? How'd you go through the process? Was it more time? Was it more attention? What was it that made you a better student?
It was more time, applying myself, more attention. Again, I didn't apply myself. I don't think I picked up a book my whole freshman and sophomore year in high school. I just thought I could just wing it. You know what I mean? I didn't think
people were going to get you through.
So my little brothers were smarter than I was, but I'm the oldest. But they were. We'd have Easter speeches. It took me a day and a half to learn mine. My brother go in that 30 minutes. He knows his.
Right.
And still, when I know mine, we go to say it at church, and I'm up there like, because I was very shy.
Yeah.
But I'm like, and so my mom will get me started. And I got to finish, but I knew I had to apply myself more, take more time, not listening to music while I'm studying. I put my headphones on, try to listen to music while I'm studying. No, it had to be quiet.
Yeah, that was it was a quiet room. Austin, did you have Easter stories? Did you guys do?
No, just Christmas programs. Learning the lines for that.
Yeah.
Easter and Christmas, but it took me a while.
Yeah.
I mean, one time this lady, so there was this thing in church, this big covenant thing, speech in church that hung in our church. This lady tried to make me learn that. I'm like, Mama, that ain't gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. So she goes, well, you're gonna learn it first. She almost took me out of football if I didn't learn it. She was gonna take me out of football if I didn't learn it. Little league football. I said, this lady crazy for real, man.
But I had to. Mine was Robert Frost, because same situation. My grandmother used to. I go to Sunday church with her, and they get you up to read. And the reading part of it was great. But if you asked me to memorize it, I would check out. But then she said, "Well, you can remember that playbook over there."
No, mine would say you can remember that song. You should be able
Right.
to remember that.
You remember that play, like that playbook over there. She goes, you can tell me what's on what page, and you can tell me what you're supposed to do, and you can tell me what 10 other people are supposed to do, plus the people against you, what they're supposed to do, but you can't memorize those 100 words. And so her challenge was, and she said, I'm not going to do it by taking it away from you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put something else up there with it. And I know how, and I remember, man, this is when they first started having leather basketball shoes. This is when they first went from the canvas high top white Converse to the Dr. J Converse All-Star. And we didn't have any money, but my grandmother had money, but my grandmother was tight with it.
Mm-hmm.
My grandmother said, if you could memorize this poem by Robert Frost, I'll buy you these shoes. Let me tell you, I got them shoes in like 2 days. It took motivation. So I feel you when you said, okay, I got this Easter speech. Man, look.
Easter in church speech.
Oh, that was what it was, man. Right. I understand what it was. Through this again, we're talking. Jay's out there. He's traveling to Charlotte. Pecan Pie, you're right. He says grandmas are magical in every aspect. It is funny that all grandmas are the same. They really are the same. They love how they love.
Yes.
And it's good to know. But it's also the same can be said for really good coaches.
Yes.
Really good coaches have a way of getting in that. When you mentioned the story with Coach Osborne, and as the funny thing is that there's so many young people who were outside of this circle that is Lincoln, Nebraska, who came from different places. What made Coach Osborne so fluid no matter where he was? Because he could go. I hear the stories about him coming to D.C., him going to California, him going to St. Louis, him going down to Georgia, and the results are all the same. What was it about Coach Osborne that let him fit in?
Man, he was a psychology major, man. That dude would have you thinking some stuff like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He'll have you like, what the heck?
Yeah.
You know you just did this. He's not yelling at you.
Right.
But his ability to go into a home in St. Louis, go into a home in Chicago, go into a home in rural Nebraska, and be himself was uncanny. I mean, I know Coach Brown always tells he would always embarrass me by telling a story about how when he came into St. Louis, he was not going to get a rental car because he was afraid to get stolen in my neighborhood. And then he tried to offer the cab driver money to sit out front to wait on. The cab driver said, no, just call me when you're done. I am not finna sit out here. So again, my reason for that was Coach Osborne going to sit in my living room in St. Louis, knowing where I came from, knowing where I'm trying to get. That was my selling point.
What I'll ask you that, because you, even outside of Nebraska, what have you ever been to somebody's house where you kind of went, oh man, this is not
So
like this ain't gonna go well at all.
I'm pretty comfortable in St. Louis. I'm pretty comfortable in most surroundings.
Yeah.
But I was coaching at Central Arkansas, and I had to go down to Pine Bluff, Arkansas. They call it Crime Bluff. Crime Bluff. For so that many people in that small little town for the crime rate there. I had never, even walking into the high school, had never been so nervous. I've been to Cali, I've been to Florida, I've been to Miami, I've been to some, but when I went to Pine Bluff, Arkansas, I was like, what am I doing? So I never sit with my back to the door. I don't know why I'm sitting with my back to the door.
Come on and
right
testify.
Now.
Come on and testify.
But I sit here with that door behind me.
Uncomfortable.
I'm very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But so I made sure I sat away from the door.
Right.
But I kept looking at that door every chance I got.
At it no matter what restaurant it is, it doesn't matter.
I'm talking about in a player's home.
No, but listen.
But even at a restaurant.
But I'm that way like now in a restaurant. At a player's house, again, I'm a DC dude. And I thought for a bit that when I decided to go to Richmond, that I thought I'm from DC. Now, really, I'm from Arlington, Virginia, but I'm from like Green Valley, which is its own persona, right? It's got its own. And I'm like, I'm not scared of nothing. And I'm not scared of nobody. And I went to Richmond. And I chose baseball in college. So at VCU, most of the people on the baseball team were white Southern boys. And I mean real Southern boys from like the mountains of Virginia. And I got invited to one of their houses. And they said, "Hey man, it's in Colonial Heights." I don't know what Colonial Heights means. I don't understand what that means. He's one other brother of the team. He goes, "Hey man, they call that Colonial Whites, man. Don't go out there. Don't go." I'm like, "Man, I'm from DC. I ain't tripping." Let me tell you, Ketty. Let me tell you. First of all, I didn't understand scary movies until that day, where every scary movie I ever saw came to mind. Like you drove down the road and you go from a regular street to a road where there's nothing but like flatland and like scarecrows at night. And there are sounds from animals that I didn't recognize. And I wasn't trying to figure out what it was. And we pulled up to the house, and I promise you, there was a cross, and a big 6-foot cross.
I don't know if I'd have went in there.
Look, I didn't get comfortable for 90 minutes, and I have never cried leaving somebody's house.
So I felt that one time. I was coaching at Southeast Missouri State, and we were recruiting a kid from Oklahoma. He was a junior college kid out of Oklahoma. So I went to his house, and like you said, the road leading to his house, it was on the outskirts of town.
Yeah.
And I got there during the day, but I'm driving. I'm like, do I need to get out of here before it gets dark? Right? I'm like, I want to get out of here before it gets dark. So I get to the house. I mean, Dad has that accent. Mom has that accent. So we go upstairs, and the subject of ping pong come on. Right?
Yep.
Subject of ping pong come on. So they said, we got a ping pong table upstairs. Well, it's in a room about this big. Bro, we played ping pong for 2.5 hours. I have on my recruiting gear, slacks, polo.
Yeah.
Soaking wet.
Yeah.
I ask myself, should I ask these people if I should use their shower? So hold on. So I looked at Dad, looked at Mom, and I looked at the kid. I said, can I use your shower? And the dad goes, sure. So I go out to my car. I get a change of clothes. I go upstairs. I go in the shower, but I lock the door and put a towel behind the door. So, but the door was locked, and I put a towel on the floor behind the door. And I got out that shower so fast. I never took a shower so fast. Now, everything ended all good. The kid decided to come and the only reason why that kid said he came was because I was comfortable enough to ask them to use their shower. He said when you play ping pong for 2.5 hours, and I only lost one game. I beat Dad, the brother, and the other brother. Lost one game, 2.5 hours. But he said when you were comfortable enough to ask us for a shower in our house, that's the reason why we chose Southeast Missouri.
I've been to homes where I know for a fact I was the first black person that was in that house, and they weren't comfortable, and it was my job to make them comfortable. But the other thing was, there's a kid in Baltimore, and I knew the college coach that was trying to recruit him, and his family knew me, so they said, "Hey, D, can you come up? We'll buy you dinner, but we need somebody that's been through this recruiting thing to go through it with us. We don't know, and we don't know who to ask. We want somebody that will tell us the truth, right? We can ask people who have been at this high school before, but we can ask you." And I've known the family for a long time, but I've never been to their house. And this house was not a house. This was an apartment building that you see in New Jack City in a movie, right? And it was the first time, I swear to you, Kenny, I've never seen bigger roaches.
Oh, I have.
I have never seen bigger roaches. And we're sitting, and the couch wasn't elevated. Like it sat on like cinder blocks
Mm-hmm.
and a board under it, but you sat lower to the floor up to the point where you could see your socks and then you could see the roaches coming. And the head coach, let me tell you, what was supposed to be a 45-minute sit down lasted 9 minutes because that coach was like, listen, you got an offer, I'm out. He goes, you will have the paperwork. Matter of fact, I need to get you out of here. So it was one of the few times that the coach was just like, listen, I see the situation you in, bro. I need to help you out. It was, matter of fact, that dude, I'll tell the story. That dude was all conference. He was all everything. That dude's a millionaire now. And that day is a big day because his family, his whole family's life changed that day because he went to college and did his thing. Oh, my goodness gracious. There's so much to ask you about. Like the experiences, like all over the state. I'll ask you this. We'll go to break, but when we come back, I'll ask you to give it to us. Is there a story that's your favorite recruiting story? Is there a favorite family or a favorite kid who you didn't think would make it but did? Like there's a question, right? Or somebody that you thought should make it and then went on to excel. To tell a great story about somebody that you got to witness their greatness and where they came from. We'll get that from Coach Kenny Woolhouse when we come back.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Ever think of having a career in plumbing or heating? Do you enjoy watching your favorite game in a nice, comfortable space? Taking a shower after a warm day? Well, everyone we serve at Biggerstaff Plumbing, Heating, and Air sure does. If you're interested in a career in plumbing, heating, and air, come join our team where you'll get paid while training. No experience required. Enjoy great pay and benefits in a friendly environment. Call Biggerstaff Plumbing, Heating, and Air at 402-466-8118 or apply online at biggerstaffs.com.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $24.11 per hour, which grows to $28.27 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $32.76 per hour with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits. Plus, medical and prescription.com.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Winter storm warning will remain in effect until 6 o'clock this evening, and snow will be a possibility throughout the day. Totals of 4 to 6 inches will be possible, reaching a high of around 27. Clearing out tonight with a low down to around 8. Will be mainly sunny and slightly warmer tomorrow with a high of around 34. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. It's soul food right here in Lincoln. Ribs, wings, catfish, coleslaw, cornbread, grits. I mean, I'd say it's food like your grandma used to make, but my grandma never made food like that. If you haven't already, you've got to give it a try. Check out their location across from South Point at 27th and Pine Lake, or find their food truck at events all over town, or visit them online at maryellens.com to see the full menu. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Let them fix you a plate. Chances are you've tried fruitcake before. Chances are it looked pretty weird. Lots of colors that don't really exist in nature. Chances are it tasted weird. Chances are you need to try fruitcake again. Grandma's fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. None of that weird stuff you didn't like, just real fruit, premium nuts, and the delicious flavor combination of brandy, bourbon, and rum to meld all that together. See for yourself. Grandma's fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome or welcome.
Max 10 for men. Bye-bye golfer lines and t-shirt 10s. Take it to the max at Max 10. Get a 30-day pass, just $25 with stand-ups and laydowns for men of stature. Be a Max 10 man. Get 30 days for just $25 now at all 4 Lincoln Max 10 locations.
Back to old school with DP and J.
Well, it's going all right when you think on. Somebody let me know. Will everybody in the place put a whistle in your face, screaming out and say, yo,
Yeah, that's Uncle DP. You know, kids in the spot. I'm always the favorite uncle. Like I babysat for my sisters and brothers. I was the cool uncle. You come to my crib and we would have a good time. So somebody dropped off some cookies the other day and they're sitting here. So I'm like, all right, go get them before Uncle DP eat all of them. I wouldn't have to worry about it. You would tell the story. You got to tell this story on air because that's funny about your cat. Like,
So he was talking about roaches and mice.
Yeah.
Before we went to break. Growing up, there was a lot of roaches and a lot of mice in our house. We finally had the house bombed, I think my senior year, summer before my senior year of high school. But we had this cat, and this cat got so big from eating the mice that one of my good friends came over, and he hadn't been over since we were probably about 13.
Yeah.
But he came over, he walked in the house and the cat, and he jumped on top of the couch. And I'm like, man, what is you doing? He was like, man, what is that? I said, man, it's a cat. He goes, man, that cat that big. I said, well, he's been fed well.
Yeah.
He's been eating good. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, he jumped on that couch. So till this day, he'll always talk about that story. Man, remember I came to your house and your cat and I jumped on top. I said, yeah, I thought you were going to climb the wall. Yep. So
look, man, that's the life. Like I say, that's how I know the people that hung out with me before I had anything are people that I pay attention to at the highest level. And it's simple, right? That you go through the process. When people go through the process with you, have respect for them. From the text line, Texas Jeremy says, Kenny, I never sit with my back to the door either. And I am always, I always eye in the room for an escape. He needs an escape route.
You have to have one.
And he looks for suspicious people and activity. Don't know why. I'm damn sure won't get caught off guard.
Do you back in to the parking stalls?
No.
I do.
Because you want to be able to get out.
I want to be able to get out.
You want to be able to get out.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
I back in.
Yeah. I said you heard them banjos. In my head, I heard the banjo. In my head, I'll get in trouble for telling this story because, like, the person I'm talking about actually listens.
Ticket Uncensored podcast. Are we doing this?
Well, okay. So, and this is a friend. So if you're listening, my apologies. This is a college teammate, baseball teammate, and again from Southern Virginia, and went to his house. My naivete was off the charts because I thought I was a big city kid, but I really wasn't. I was Carlton Banks. I just thought I was Will. Like I thought I was Will, but I was really Carlton Banks. All right, not really. Right. But so I went to my buddy. He was a catcher from way down south in Virginia. We go to his house, and his sister. He's got an older sister. Sister's 2 years older than I am, and the sister developed a crush on me the first time we met at the house. And she says, yeah, you got to keep coming back, hang out with Barry, and everything's good. She led me to her room. We were just sitting there talking. And her room was right across from her parents' room.
Mm-hmm.
And you could see in the parents' closet. And I'm sitting on the bed. And I look across, and my hand to heart, I recognize something in the closet. and it was white.
Mm.
And I literally couldn't move. I couldn't move. So it took me a couple of minutes to gather myself, to gather the young lady and my teammate, and said, we need to go back to Richmond. We need to go back to Richmond now. And I couldn't tell them why. Like I couldn't say. I was like, it's just time for me to go. It's just I can't explain it. And I explained it to him later. That, hey, bro, what's up with this? And he goes, oh, don't pay that any mind. That's just my dad. And I went, no, that's not how that works. This was on a Friday. Saturday morning, we had a game Saturday night. Saturday morning, his mother and father show up at the dorm room. And he brings us moonshine that they actually make. This is what they make. Like there's 3 stills out back. They make, and he goes, I'm told that I need to make up with you. And I'm like, no, sir. No, you don't. No, you don't. And he goes, well, take this. This is something we make. And I'm like, okay, sir. And I spin the top off it because I don't know what it is. I spin the top off it and it cleans my nostrils. Like literally, I'm brand new. And he goes, yeah, drink that after y'all win, or you can save it to the winter to help your tractor start.
Nah, I'm good.
Listen, you couldn't force me to drink that stuff because I didn't know what it was. But yeah, those trips, man, they exist. They're out there. I'll ask you about your favorite recruiting story. And it could be, a player that you want to talk about. It could be a situation. It could have worked out or not worked out. You tell me through all the recruiting stories, one that pops to mind.
Well, the most recent one is a kid we got from Grayson, Georgia. Again, academically, I did not think from when he came on his official visit, I'm like, I don't know if this kid can survive in this environment coming from Georgia. His grade situation. But from the day that kid got on campus to the day he graduated, he took academics serious. He took advantage of all the resources he had. He became a good player for us. He's in Omaha now. He stayed around the Nebraska area, and he'll reach out every now and then. I'll just tell him how proud I am of him, because I follow him on Twitter, Facebook, and just tell him to keep up the good work. He's being a great father right now. He's working in the Omaha community. So that's one of the ones that is very, very close to me because I'm going to be real. And I told him flat out, I said, you're not good enough to be a black shirt. You'll never be good enough to be a black shirt. And at that time, he wasn't. I never thought he'd have been a black shirt. But he always said, when you challenged me, when you told me that was a challenge to me, that wasn't a put down. Some kids will look at that as a put down. Some kids look at it as a challenge, and he accepted that challenge. He became a black shirt, and that meant more to him, and when he got his black shirt,
big deal.
It was a huge deal for him because he earned it. It wasn't just given to him. He earned it. So he always tells me that, and that'll stay with me for the rest of my life.
What is your thoughts or your policy or your thinking when it comes to recruiting and social media? Do you do deep dives? When do you start to follow these young folks, or do you follow them and not follow them and just peek in on them? When do you become social engagement involved? Because I know a lot of folks will just reach out to you because they know, okay, hey, Coach Will, I'm so-and-so. I'm here trying to do this. Doesn't mean that you immediately follow them or have them in the space. How do you deal with social media?
So if you reach out to me via Twitter, I'll watch your film. And then if I think you're an okay player, if you're not of age or grade where I can reach back out to you, I'll reach back out to the coach and say, hey, so-and-so reached out. Tell them I can't respond back. but we'd love to have him on campus for one of our camps.
Okay.
He comes to camp, does well. Now I'll follow him on social media because he'll post stuff. He'll post highlights and stuff.
Mhm.
But he comes to our camp, works out, and he moves decently. Then I'll really try to follow him more. And then once the time comes where I could DM him on Twitter, I'll do that. Text message.
How many just of I know it's a guesstimate, but how many people send you film a year?
Oh, I mean, like I'll walk into the office one day and there'll be 120 emails with films, and I'll try to knock those out within that day. So it's 120 films, and then as you're knocking some out, you may get another one.
Do you keep track of who sent? Like, is this a ledger, some magical ledger that Kenny Wilhite kept?
So I had a notepad,
Mhm.
and say DP sent me his film. I'll write DP, position, what high school. If it's Nebraska, write Nebraska behind it. If it's Maryland, write that behind it, and then what year you are. And then I'll put yes, no, or question mark. Yes means definitely yes.
Right.
If I put a yes by your name now, I'm sending you to the next person.
And that's mainly a physical thing.
Yes, that's a physical thing.
Right.
But I'm going to send you up the ladder now to the person that gets you in front of the head coach.
And then are you doing the work to find out whether they're academically prepared? So
Yes.
you do the work
So
before you send it or after?
No. If I send it to you, I'm doing work.
Okay.
If I don't send it to you, then I may put it on the back burner. But if there's a yes, that's going right now.
Okay. And that really is that physically the film doesn't lie.
Film doesn't lie.
How big a part of this is what system they're in, right? Does their system, the systems run in high school, do they have to match what Nebraska was doing?
Back then, back in the 80s, 90s, most of the high schools predicated their offenses off of what Nebraska was doing on offense. Now they don't. You got guys running all kind of offenses.
So if you look at a quarterback, what are you looking for?
The release, and then is he athletic? Can he, run a little bit? But the release, how long does it take a ball to get to a certain point? And then if I left that to the previous guy because that was his baby, but he had a guy that he leaned on for that, other than Mario. But I gave it to that guy, and that guy would say, "Hey, yeah, I'll pass this on too."
Does the system in the film matter? So let's say there's a kid who he's defensive end, stand-up defensive end, playing in a 4-3. Does that help him, hurt him, or neither?
No, you try to project what he could do at a different position.
Okay.
So if he's a you said a stand-up, can he play? Can he put his hand in the ground? Can he get big enough to put his hand in the ground?
Receivers watching 7-on-7 tape.
Does he catch with his hands? How does he come out of his break? Can he make somebody miss after the catch? His first 3 steps off the ball, how fast is it? Is he losing ground or gaining ground? You know what I mean? So that's what you look for as a receiver. First and foremost, you want to see them get off the ball. Then their route running. And then
but is that well taught now? Because
for the most part, yeah. For the most part,
Yeah.
yeah. Because we had a guy here under Riley that was really, really good receivers coach. And he stressed that. And he's still, he's coaching in the NFL right now. But he still has guys. He would have guys come in from the NFL and train them. And his first thing he would say was, "Your get off. You got to get off the ball." You know what I mean? That's the first thing he would say.
We as a receivers coach, I would always say, you sell the vert.
Yes.
And if your first 3 steps tell one, I want to turn hips. I want to get the eyes in the wrong place, and I want their balance thrown off. And the easiest way to do it is 3 of my power strokes to get this guy off. So, but I don't always see it, so I'm not sure what people are teaching.
For the most part, it's being taught.
Yeah.
You would hope 7-on-7 coaches are teaching that. You know what I mean? But I don't do just 7-on-7. I want to turn that film on and see what they're doing on the film.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the next question: is the 7-on-7 out of uniform and out of pads, and then you see a film of them in game with a full 11-on-11, and then the other part of it is that they don't send you in all 22 film.
Well, they don't have to send it. You can get that.
Yeah, but don't you want? I mean, as a recruiter, make my life easy. Get
You
like get me to
you're evaluating off the highlight,
All right.
and then you take it upon yourself. Okay, we have game film.
Okay,
I'm going to watch the first 4 series of the game. See, does it match the highlight?
and it's first full force.
First full 11-on-11
Yeah.
series of a game.
How many plays do you need from a player before you say yes or no?
Well, you can tell by first 4 clips if a guy can play Big Ten football in a highlight video.
Right.
First 4 clips. But then it has to match an 11-on-11. It has to.
Well, here's another. I'm going to give you $1 million idea, but I think if you put together a company that actually did high school highlight tapes and taught people how to do it, taught coaches how to do it, parents how to do it, because hey, mom and dad, stop putting your kids' highlight films together. You're not good at it. Stop doing it.
So you'll get film when you're like, why did he put that on his highlight?
Because nobody tells them what to put in. Like they don't know. Like, so my buddy Barry Thompson's quarterback coach, and he delivers guys to Division I all the time. And his thing is, okay, here are the 7 throws I need for you to make that I want on film. Like if you're going to get a quarterback's coach, I'm going to give you 7. I don't need 12 throws. 7 throws will tell me and make the 7 most difficult throws. Show me that you can make the deep out throw. Show me, right, all that. So if you went around to the state to every high school in the state of Nebraska and simply had you sold for whatever $250 a session, and you told people, hey, coach, have a highlight film class for people jumping on a huddle and doing this the wrong way because you wasted my time and theirs.
Most of the time, kids are doing it, so coaches don't know.
Well,
and then I tell a coach, hey, so and so made a highlight video, but it's clip by clip. Tell them it needs to be one continuous clip, right?
Like they don't need to circle who they are.
Well, no, you have to some point, because if it's an old lineman, you don't want to try to be looking for numbers.
Yeah,
who
is this guy?
The way the uniforms are now, you can barely see numbers. So
that.
you want them to circle themselves, right?
Okay.
Don't circle yourself after the play starts.
And don't circle it and write something cute.
No,
like, watch this.
Yeah,
we don't need
all the dramatization. All that stuff. Just circle yourself. And the thing that gets me the most is, you see a kid, somebody sends you a kid, then you go looking for them on social media, and they got aliases. So I'm like, man, I can't find this dude on social media. So you try to tell a kid, hey, change your name on social media to your God-given name.
Yes,
so
it's easier and a picture of you right now.
And it's easier for you to find. Easier for us to find you.
If you put that number, you and that jersey number, that might be helpful.
That might be helpful.
Kenny, I'm just saying, I'm going to put you on the road, man. We got all the schools to cover in the state of Nebraska. Because I watch film too. People will send them to me. I'm like, DP, I need your opinion. No, you don't. No, you don't.
You hate killing dreams, but you want to be honest with kids and their parents and tell them, hey, he can't play at Nebraska. He could possibly play at a lower level Division I or FCS school.
We're going to set that up. What you're looking for that helps you decide, hey, is this D1, high D1? Is this elite? You might just have to go down here. You might have to go to Sam Houston State instead. But we'll have that discussion when we come back and close out Old School.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
Business for 29 years, and they specialize in a variety of things. If you're looking for someone to get the job done in precision demolition, excavating, trucking, mass grading, and site prep, Brent is the place to call. To set up a quote or learn more, call Brent Excavating at 402-474-4113 or go to BrentExcavating.com. They're also hiring, so join the team today. Brent Excavating, a part of the Bauer brand, who reminds you, go big Brent.
MWR is dedicated to building attractive, affordable steel buildings that exceed your expectations. From commercial or residential to agricultural storage, steel buildings are cost-effective, attractive, and versatile. Plus, they're a lasting investment and an ideal choice. MWR uses Sentinel Building Systems out of Albion and can service you all over the state and region. If you have interest in a steel building, post frame building, or fencing, give MWR a call today at 402-980-5273 or go to mwrbuildingandfence.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here, Verkoppel Chevrolet GMC, wanting to say Happy New Year and thank you to all of you for your continued support. We have just closed out another outstanding year, and we want to start 2023 off with a bang. The new GMC and Chevrolet inventory continues to roll in, and I'll actually be picking up my 2023 GMC later this month. So with interest rates continuing to climb, Koppel is partnering with General Motors and now offering 2.9% APR on select models. So we invite you to the dealership. Check us out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. All deals with approved credit.
Tractor Supply is looking for full-time team members for their Waverly Distribution Center. Tractor Supply has a new progressive pay model where team members receive 5 wage increases in the first 2 years of employment with the ability to earn up to $24 per hour. Applicants can expect a 3- and 4-day work week schedule with additional overtime days with both day and night shift schedules available. At Tractor Supply, they work hard, have fun, and make money. Apply today at tractorsupply.jobs.
Hey there.
Hi, honey.
Uh-oh.
Remember we told Jamie and Mike about Liberty First Credit Union, how great their checking account and car loans are, the amazing service we get, and how we love being members?
Yeah.
Well, they took our advice. Jamie said how easy it was to move all their accounts and become members. Now they say they're banking with purpose at Liberty First Credit Union.
Learn more about being a member at libertyfirstcu.com. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose. Member NCUA.
Husker Nation, Amy Williams and Nebraska women's basketball needs you February 18th at 1 p.m. as the Huskers take on the Iowa Hawkeyes. We need your help to sell out Pinnacle Bank Arena for the first time ever. For event and ticket information, visit huskers.com/tickets. Go Big Red.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Winter storm warning will remain in effect until 6 o'clock this evening, as snow will be a possibility throughout the day. Totals of 4 to 6 inches will be possible, reaching a high of around 27. Clearing out tonight with a low down to around 8. Will be mainly sunny and slightly warmer tomorrow with a high of around 34. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Yeah, Austin's figured out. I'll say this 1,000 times. I wish I could share the breaks with you guys because it's always a master's class. And Kenny, is it fair to say that we can't say everything ever? And it's sad. It saddens me that we can't just tell people the truth about everything all the time.
No, you
right?
can't. You can't.
Right? Like it just
there's a what do you call it? Like what goes on in the locker room stays in the locker room. Yeah. There's a loyalty factor to it.
Yeah.
I tried to be loyal to the university first and foremost, to the kids, and then the guy that was my boss. That was my loyalty. That was my pecking order. So I tried to keep everything that I knew within that. So some things that can be shared. Something that can't, I won't.
And some things, if you told them the truth,
they
wouldn't believe you anyway.
They wouldn't believe me anyway.
They wouldn't believe you anyway. So that's a big part of it. I do want to share the story before we go. From sources, this is on ESPN.com, ex-Suns owner Robert Sarver is giving $20,000 to every team employee. He sold the team, right? He's the former owner. He's giving $20,000 as an individual bonus to team employees and is also donating $5 million to the team's charity according to ESPN. He sold the Suns and the Phoenix Mercury, the WNBA. And this was after an investigation of his conduct, so there were some flags to be checked. But he was the owner for over 2 decades. He sold the team for $2.28 billion, but his share of that was $1.48 billion.
I can give him $20,000 too.
After taxes, he is expected to clear double the amount that he paid for the group in 2004, which was then a record $400 million from Jerry Colangelo. But he will walk away. He's done well. The Suns employees were notified about the bonuses and his donation to charity in an email from the current owner. He said those who qualify for the $20,000 bonus, which they'd receive in the next paycheck, in the very next paycheck, were full-time employees who started on or before February 15, 2022. So if you've been there for a year or longer, in your next paycheck, you're going to receive a $20,000 bonus. One employee says, I will say that's a classy move, and that's a way to leave. Man.
That's
man.
I mean, I want to say it's good on his part. I mean, with
the thing, right?
It's the thought that counts. I don't know if he's doing it but you say that, and then, nobody's perfect.
Right.
Hopefully he learned his lesson from the situation, and you give him the benefit of the doubt. And this is a step. This is a positive step in the right direction for him. I don't know him personally, but this is a positive step in the right direction for him. Hopefully he gets his mind right and gets help, maybe help that he needs to educate himself on certain things. But step in the right direction, and kudos to that guy. Because no one's perfect. You're gonna do things. You're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna say things. Something's gonna happen.
I know that's my testimony.
So you ask for forgiveness, and then you hopefully learn from your mistake.
It's a great step up. Finally, before we go, from the text line, KW, does a standout player in 3A or 4A rank in Texas pop off the film more than a Class A kid in Nebraska? Level of play and competition he's playing against.
For me, no. For me, it's always Nebraska first. It's always the 500-mile radius first. Texas is Texas. There's a lot of schools you have to skip over to come to Nebraska. So a Class A player, not only a Class A player, if there's an 8-man player, a la, you know what I'm talking about? There's an 8-man player that's a really good player in the state of Nebraska.
You want him.
You want him. That's where my eggs are going before a player in Texas.
I tell people, having coached in Texas, and I tell you, yes, because just population and size of the state.
Of course, it's more attractive.
The more players. Like there's more players and there's more money being thrown into it otherwise. But the reality is, in order for Nebraska to succeed, they're going to have to dominate the space that they're in. They're going to have to dominate.
There's a certain player in the metro area right now that really good.
Gotta get him.
You better get him.
You better get him. Kind sir, thank you.
Thank you.
Well done, kind sir. Austin, well done for you folks on the text line and in the YouTube chat. Thank you for hanging out with us for this. We'll lock it up and do it again.
Stay warm.
Yeah, stay safe.
Stay safe. Thanks, Austin.
Drive slow.
I don't know about that Duke shirt, though. I'm a Carolina fan.
We'll work on that. We'll work on that.
No, I'm not going to hate on you, brother.
We're out.
Ever think of having a career in plumbing or heating? Do you enjoy watching your favorite game in a nice, comfortable space? Taking a shower after a warm day? Well, everyone we serve at Biggerstaff Plumbing, Heating, and Air sure does. If you're